Good morning and welcome to the 2026 Washington State Department of Transportation Worker Memorial Ceremony. Please, everyone, if you can, please take a seat. Out of respect for today's memorial, I'd ask you that you now take a moment and also silence your cell phones. And now the Washington State Patrol Honor Guard will present the colors to begin our ceremony.
Forward, march.
Please go ahead and take a seat. Thank you to our partners in highway safety at the Washington State Patrol for presenting the colors for our ceremony today. Today we are gathered to honor the lives and service of our crews across the state, both past and present, from various regions and disciplines who have been injured in work zones, suffered near misses, and those who are sadly no longer with us. As you entered today, you likely noticed our 61-person honor guard. I'm proud that we brought the honor guard back this year, as each person standing today represents an employee who was killed on the job, many in marked work zones, since 1950. To the employees who have traveled to volunteer your time to be part of today's event and to honor their memory, I thank you. While this annual celebration is a stark reminder about the very real dangers our crews face every day out on the highway, I'm also encouraged by the partnerships in this room today, the resilience of our crews, and the commitment of our family to honor our loved ones each and every day. Thank you to the media and other partners who help share important work zone safety messages with your audiences as we gear up for another busy summer construction season ahead. We do not want to add another name to our list of fallen workers. I also want to acknowledge and thank Washington State Patrol Chief Batiste for being here today, along with our very own highway maintenance worker, Josh Willisey from the Man, this is hard already, folks. I apologize. From the South Central Region team in Ellensburg, who is bravely sharing his story of being hit by a suspected drunk driver early this year. I now would like to take an opportunity to introduce the Secretary of the Washington State Department of Transportation, Julie Meredith.
I'm honored to be here today, and I'd like to start today by acknowledging the families of our fallen co-workers here today. Thank you for once again joining us at this event. I share my deepest condolences for your losses as we gather to remember your loved ones, many killed, as Pasco said, in marked work zones across the state. It's an honor, as always, to meet you before this event, and I realize that today can bring a lot of emotions, both for you and for our teams here today. This marks the beginning of my second year as the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. The best part of my year has been going around the state to talk to our teams, hear their stories, hear what keeps them up at night and what we can do to improve their safety. My job is to advocate for our crews where they are working on ferries, or they're repairing damaged guardrails, working on fish barrier, or clearing the mountain passes of snow. Safety is one of our agency's core values and something I and everyone at WashDOT take seriously. Far too many of our workers have close calls and serious injuries and even deaths in our work zones. And since 1950, WashDOT has 61 workers killed on the job. Employees in work zones are spouses, parents, children, siblings, friends, and loved ones. And we all deserve to go home safe at the end of each shift. We work hard to improve safety in our work zones with new technology, signs, and flashing lights, but we need the public's help. Most work zone crashes are easily preventable. According to the Washington State Patrol, the top 3 reasons for work zone collisions in 2025 were following too closely, excessive speed, and inattention and distracted driving. Unfortunately, we're seeing more speeding and erratic behavior on our roadways, and our latest crash data underscores why this work is so critical. In 2025, the total number of work zone-related crashes was 1,557, a slight decrease of the 1,607 crashes in 2024, but still too high. The overall number of fatal crashes grew from 7 in 2024 to 9 in 2025, a nearly 30% increase. It's not just road crews at risk in work zones. Nearly 94% of people injured in our work zone crashes are drivers and their passengers or nearby pedestrians. It's in everyone's interest to pay attention and drive safely. And we can't continue going in the direction we have been. To that end, I'm encouraged by the steps we are taking as an agency to protect our workers and travelers alike. This month marks the 1-year anniversary of our work zone speed camera program. This safety program is built with a strong partnership with the legislature, the Washington State Patrol, our partners at the AGC, and others. We are committed to safety. We currently have 6 automated cameras rotating through active construction zones and maintenance work zones in Western Washington, and we're growing that number to 15 by 2027. I want to be clear. The goal of the program isn't to issue tickets, but rather to get drivers to slow down and save a life. Following our ceremony today, families will be placing a rose by the cone associated with their loved one around the stage. Let's honor their memory here today by committing ourselves to work zone safety. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Meredith. I'd like to introduce South Central Region Highway Maintenance Worker Josh Quillisi to share his close call with you today. Unfortunately, crashes aren't new, but the pictures and descriptions of this one were shocking even to staff with years of experience, and we're very glad Josh has survived and is here today to share his story. Josh.
Thank you, Pasco. My name is Josh Quillisi. I am a highway maintenance worker with Washtenaw, South Central Region. I am part of the team responsible for maintaining Interstate 90 over Squamish Pass during the winter, along with other major routes. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, but I want to share just part of my job. It's something that changed how I look at it. On January 17th, I was operating a snowplow on I-90 near Caritas when my shift took an unexpected turn. Near mile marker 115, a semi-truck struck my plow. The impact flipped the truck upside down and sent both me and the vehicle into the median. Inside the cab, I was thrown around and left dazed and confused, trying to make sense of what just happened. Even at that moment, I knew I needed to act. Call for help. Call for help and get dispatch there. Like everyone in that situation, my thoughts quickly went to my family. I was asking myself if I would be okay, if I would make it home to my wife and kids. Thankfully, several good Samaritans stopped after witnessing the crash and came to help. With the truck overturned, I had to crawl along the inside of the cab, what had become the roof. The reach of the passenger's side window to get out so I can get help and emergency vehicles there. While we waited for emergency responders, I focused on understanding the situation and making sure help was on its way. I was taken to the hospital and treated for neck and back injury, facial injuries, and significant bruising. I was very fortunate that it wasn't worse. Later I learned that the driver was cited by Washington State Patrol for driving under the influence and reckless endangerment. I've been with Washtenaw for 3 years, and I'm incredibly grateful for the support we're receiving from my team and most importantly, my supervisors. Throughout the incident and my recovery, after some time on medical leave, I was cleared to return to work in February. But this wasn't my first close call. It was the second time in 3 years that I had been hit by a suspected impaired driver while simply doing my job. That's why I'm here today, because this isn't just about me. It's about every person who works on our roads. So my message is simple. Slow down and work zone. When you see a plow truck, flashing lights, or any emergency response unit, give us space. Put down the phones and never drive impaired. These aren't just guidelines. There are choices that can save lives. Every day, crews like mine are out there, all conditions, working to keep highways open and people moving. But we are not just workers in reflective gears. We are spouses, we are parents, we are sons and daughters, and we are neighbors. At the end of every shift, we want the same thing as anyone else, to make it home safely. And the reality is we can do everything right on the job and still put at risk by one poor decision behind the wheel. So when you're driving through a work zone, I ask you to think about the simple people out there, not just the inconvenience, not just the delay, but the lives. Because the choices made in those moments matter more than most people realize. Thank you for taking this serious. It's about whether someone makes it home. Please help make sure we all get home. Thank you.
Josh, thank you very much. I want to now take the opportunity to introduce the Chief of the Washington State Patrol, John Batiste.
morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you today. Josh, thanks for being here to tell your story. Appreciate you. Appreciate your family. I want to thank Secretary Meredith for inviting me to be here with you today. As you know, our troopers every day work hard to address dangerous behavior that's happening on our highways. Knowing the important work that you and your crews do and the risks that you face, make it an honor for me and my troopers to serve alongside you and our other partners who are out doing roadway safety. Today we join in honoring those memorialized here. Our thoughts are with them. Importantly, it's with you, the family members, and you, the crews. As Secretary Meredith mentions, we're also seeing an increase in speeding and reckless driving on our roadways. Our aim is certainly to do something about that. Speeding, driving impaired, driving distracted, following too close, or simply not paying attention are all causes that could create real consequences for people, as Josh indicated. Knowing how personal this is for many of you here today, please know it's also very personal to me and the members of the Washington State Patrol. In our agency's 105-year history, we've lost 34 brave men and women. As recently as Trooper Tara Guting, just south of here in Tacoma. Tara was out doing her job when she was struck by two errant motorists. As we continue to mourn Tara, we haven't gotten over the loss of Trooper Christopher Gadd. Trooper Gadd was killed in Marysville after being struck by a drunk driver on Interstate 5. These are two wonderful people taken from us way too soon. Like you, we understand the weight of loss. This is why we're committed to doing everything we can as an agency to keep you and others safe who traverse through our work zones. Our troopers see firsthand how impaired and reckless driving puts roadway workers, tow truck operators, and other first responders at risk. Each of these tragedies, as Josh indicates, are indeed preventable. These are choices that people are making. That's why the Washington State Patrol stands with you in working to eliminate crashes and fatalities in our work zones. We stand with you, saying that people who use our roadways should do so responsibly. We stand with you and say that people who work on our roadways deserve to go home safely at the end of their shifts, being proud of their work and confident while out there about their safety. This is why we support speed zone cameras in speed zones. Today, the cameras have detected more than 87,000 violations in work zones. We've issued over 63,000 infractions to those who have violated. Sadly, 9% of those are repeat offenders. Even after being warned, they continue to do things that make it unsafe for themselves and others on the roadway. As Josh indicates, the message is clear. Slow down, put your phone down, and for God's sake, don't drive under the influence. Because we must do everything we can, and we will do everything we can to keep our troopers, our DOT workers, and others safe. To every one of you here today, particularly to the families, our hearts go out to you. We stand with you, and we'll always stand with our partners at WashDOT. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Thank you so much, Chief. I now want to introduce somebody who represents the Washington State Department of Transportation Memorial Foundation. David Sowers is the president this year of the Memorial Foundation, and he has a few words to talk about the foundation and the work that the foundation does. Dave?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Pasco, and thank you, Secretary Meredith, for again including the Washington State Memorial Foundation in today's ceremony. Again, my name is David Sowers, and I'm the 2026 president of the foundation. I'm joined by the past president, John Conrad, who served this agency as assistant secretary. Today, we join the families of fallen workers to celebrate their service and remind us of the sacrifice they made serving the traveling public. It is an honor for us all to be here. In our individual families and our WashDOT family, the unexpected loss of life is the single most traumatic event we will ever face. Suddenly, we are without someone we loved us, and we counted on in so many ways. Today, we will read the names of WashDOT's fallen workers. Each person on this list had an obvious connection to their immediate family, and yet also a strong connection to their WashDOT family. Since 2010, the foundation has been helping families deal with grief and hardship. The foundation is a nonprofit, volunteer-run organization that serves two primary purposes: honoring and preserving the memory of WashDOT's fallen workers, assisting active and retired employees and their families in times of need. While we are honored to work with the families of fallen or injured workers, it is also important to note that we are here for all employees and all families in need. To date, we have provided financial support to 312 families totaling over $600,000, including assisting families of fallen workers, scholarships for children of fallen workers, recovery and support for injured workers, and medical expenses and other personal calamities. Our foundation is supported through donations, many of which come from current and former WashDOT employees. Thank you to all who have donated and continue to contribute. Before reading the names of the 61 WashDOT workers killed on the job since 1950, I'll offer these final thoughts. This past Sunday, lost in the day of chocolate bunnies, Easter egg hunts, and long-winded sermons, is a message of peace, love, hope, and renewal. Today's event reminds us of those virtues. It reminds us of our loved ones, the role they play in our personal lives, and for others in our professional lives, and bind us to the larger WashDOT family and those members of this family we have so tragically lost. They deserve our remembrances every day, not just this day. The foundation makes sure that these lives were not lost in vain, but that their purpose, their commitment to WashDOT, lives on with their families and all Washingtonians. Now I'll ask John Conrad to read the names.
I'm honored and humbled at the privilege of being able to read the names of the fallen workers. These names go clear back to 1950. Many of them obviously predate my career at WashDOT. However, some of them lost their lives during my career at WashDOT, and I have very personal memories of those days. Much like we all remember where we were on 9/11, I have very vivid memories of some of those days. As I read through these names, I'm going to share, if you bear with me, some of those remembrances of the people on this list. Frank Potter, Laird Chambers, Charles Getty, L.A. Parton, Richard Temple, William Pitts, Rollo Clark, Ray Wittig, Paul Yant, Joseph France, Henry Wills, Fred Tickmeyer, Edward Bowles, Albert Holman, Andrew Kelberer, Lucian Houston, Newt Johnson, Clarence Slutter, Harold Scholl, Francis Baker, George Mulfinger, James O'Neill, William Holmes, Ino Matilla, Vernon Curtis, Gary Davis, Lee Robinson, Charles Williams, Claude Waterman, George Heaton, Wallace Wright, Harold Allen, Donald Barden, Ray Colley, William Owens, Harold Gustafson, William Ashley, William Cook, Edward Abrams, George Adair, Russell Barker, Dermot Moore, James Wishard, Robert Johnson, Robert Forrest, Richard Androsco, Joseph Craig, John Swan, Lauren Morton, Patricia Oberg, Donald Fritzwald. Don Fritzwald was working out of the Chehalis office. He stopped on I-5, South Chehalis, parked on the shoulder, and was crossing the lanes of traffic to pick up some litter. As state maintenance engineer, I happened to actually be in that maintenance office that day and had to help make the notifications to family. Michael Malone. Mike was an E2 in Tom Baker's project office in South Seattle. He was working on I-5 at night, was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Mike's widow, Tammy, and I sat together and testified in the legislature in support of the double fines and work zones legislation that we now have. Edward Fayback. Edward wasn't working in maintenance or construction. He was in the transportation data office setting traffic counters on I-90 over in Spokane when he was hit. That was an awakening to the department that it isn't just maintenance and construction workers that are at risk. Stephen Brown, Samuel Williams. Sam Williams, I think his death was the first time that a death of one of our workers was acknowledged by the full Department of Transportation instead of just leaving to the family and the local office to suffer the grief. I will never, ever forget the look of pain on Don Wagner, our Southwest Regional Administrator's face when he told me of Sam's passing. We, as a WashDOT family, attended the funeral. We gathered at the maintenance yard in Chehalis, and we had a procession all the way to Morton. Secretary of Transportation Sid Morrison met with the family ahead of the service, and we all listened and participated in the service. We shared tears, and we shared stories of humor about things that Sam had done, such as organizing riding lawnmower races and some of the shenanigans that he'd done with Christmas decorations. Jake Bardson. Yesterday, I came over from Wenatchee and drove on 18 to get here to Olympia. I passed a Don't Drink and Drive memorial sign to Jake. Jake was working on 18 in the middle of the day when he was hit and killed by an impaired driver. Secretary of Transportation Doug McDonald and myself met with Jake's mother that evening to help her try and come to grips with what had happened. Several days later, we had a memorial ceremony in the maintenance yard in Kent. Then we proceeded out to the site on SR 18. We all stood on the shoulder, holding hands, shedding tears as we put out one last call on the radio for Sam with no response. Myron Neal Richards, Billy Bud Reynolds, Bruce Cowling, and last, and thankfully the last name on this list, Rodney Wheeler. We all met Rodney's family 2 years ago, and thankfully 3 years later we have no more new names to add to this list. But I do want to share our heartfelt grief also goes out to State Patrol for the loss of Trooper Gooding this past year. Chief Batiste and I had known each other for 30 years. We worked together a lot of those years, and these times are always difficult for both agencies.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, John. It's humbling, very humbling. Today we're honoring our families, both our WSDOT families, our contractor crews, emergency responders, union partners, and all of our families. Everybody who is on the road is part of why we are here today. Excuse me. I can't keep pages straight. You know, there's a reason I'm retiring the end of June. And this is another one of those little subtle things that, Pasco, the pages are numbered. Keep going. You'll get there. Sorry. In my nearly 40 years at the Washington State Department of Transportation, this annual event never gets easier. This is especially meaningful for me, as it will be my last ceremony as a Washington State DOT employee before I retire later this summer. I want to acknowledge and thank all the families here today, all of you. I also understand that this day can reopen old wounds as you remembered your loved ones. Josh, it's wonderful to meet you in person. And I wish your family would have been able to be here today. Go home and hug them tonight, please. Just as each of us are affected by work zone injuries and fatalities, it takes all of us working together to keep our people safe on the road. Now I would like to ask the families that are here if you would like to come up and join me in collecting a loved one for your family as we honor them today. So families, if you would like to, please come forward. So first of all, families, if you'd like to go back into the reception area that you gathered in before the event started today, you may. We are at the end of our ceremony at this time. Jay? Honor guard, you can be released. And one last word. Thank you all for attending today. The support that you show for the families, they will always remember. Thank you very much.